We're into that kind of preform with a little bit of work and some pressure flaking will absolutely become something dynamite. Now, when it comes to Flintknapping, it's important to understand that there is a difference between the stone flakes that are removed from a core or a cobble. Actually, these stone flakes have specific names. When we take any sort of cobble or even core, which is a large piece of stone flakes are being removed from, every flake that comes off is a different type of flake. Because when you understand the flakes that are coming off, it allows you to strategize what sort of projectile that you're gonna make. So take this piece of pedernales right here. What I can see is that there's definitely some waxy, glassy, smooth material on the inside. I can see it here as well. But I know there's a lot of cortex sitting on the top of it. My goal would be able to reduce this down into a bifacial form, going from this thick mass to something like this biface right here. And the flakes that come off of this cobble are really what I'm thinking about and what I'm targeting. I have 3 different types of flakes. I have a primary flake, a secondary flake, and a tertiary flake. A primary flake is this. It is a flake that has been removed from a core cobble that has its dorsal side completely covered in cortex. And a dorsal side flake is essentially the top side, is the top of the flake. The ventral side would be the bottom. So for a primary flake, the entire dorsal side of that flake is covered by cortex. Now for a secondary flake, a portion of the dorsal side is covered in cortex. So even when we look at these 2 flakes, they're both secondary flakes. There's a little bit of cortex here and there's cortex here. Flip them over, they're both smooth on the bottom. That would be my ventral side. So on those dorsal sides, there's an aspect or remnants of cortex that exists. And for a tertiary flake, this is a flake that has no visible cortex, meaning that this flake was removed kind of from the meat of that piece of stone. So when I look at this cobble here, this flake came out on the inside of this stone. Now for a tertiary flake, the key thing is that the dorsal side will have some form of pre-existing flake scars. You can see them here. There's a flake scar here. There's one here. There's a couple even on this back side. Ventral side is smooth. Dorsal side is pre-existing flake scars. How I'm typically going to generate a lot of my primary and secondary flakes is in the initial phases of thinning of a spall. You can see that cortex and a little bit of the exposed stone there. This would be a secondary flake. Even this long flake, having a little bit of visible stone would still make it a secondary flake. Secondary flake. That right there would be a primary flake. Even though there's a little bit of exposure right there, I'm still not getting to that heart of the stone. It's kind of that layer that lays underneath that cortex. That would be a primary flake. That right there would be a tertiary flake. There's no visible cortex and removed it right from that cobble. So as I was hitting it with the hammerstone, I just popped a single flake off that is all stone, no cortex. Tertiary flake. So biface is thin and set off to the side. We're here to really look at these flakes. These are a couple of those primary flakes. The entire dorsal side is covered with cortex. Secondary flakes, there is at least some remnants of the cortex on that actual flake. Just that little bit right there makes it a secondary flake. And then all of our tertiary flakes, flakes that have no visible cortex on that dorsal side. And a lot of these tertiary flakes are thin and they're used with some form of soft percussion. You saw me using a couple different antler billets. They are producing a lot of these tertiary flakes that are relatively thin. Now, why this is important for the napper, the archaeologist, the artifact collector is simply this. Between my primary, secondary, and tertiary flakes, I typically want to target my secondary flakes for making arrow points or small projectiles. Not always, but your secondary flakes are typically free from cortex and they're a little bit thicker. Now you can tell by looking at that bulb of percussion that it's got a little bit more mass to it. There's not as much cortex on the top that you'll have to try to remove. And these are those kind of target flakes. They're removed with a form of hard hammer percussion, typically a stone or even a large billet. My tertiary flakes that really come off from the interior side are relatively thin. Now this flake right here, I could probably get a projectile point out of it, but with a thinner flake that's removed through a lighter form of soft hammer percussion, they're likely to break in your hand when you're trying to pressure flake. Doesn't mean you can't do it, it just requires a different sort of skill. So when we're looking to make our arrowheads, we want to try to target those secondary flakes. If some of our flakes have a lot of cortex like this guy, which would be a primary flake, the underbelly is minimal in its actual material that you can knap. Is it usable? Yes, but you're going to run into a lot more problems with the primary flake compared to a secondary flake. Now, it doesn't mean that a primary, secondary, or tertiary flake can't be turned into a projectile point, but you have to kind of look at them all kind of individually and say, where do I have the most stone? Am I less likely to break that stone flake when I apply pressure to it? So you look at the stone, and I like to target those secondary flakes that have been removed with the form of hard hammer percussion or a large billet that still gives me some mass in the stone. Because I don't want to work around the thinness of the stone. I want to create the thinness in the stone for a projectile point. Those flakes that have been removed with a smaller billet or even a hard hammer, but a small one, they're relatively thin and you can almost see through them. It's going to be hard to create a projectile point out of it. Doesn't mean that you can't use it for cutting, doesn't mean you can't turn it into some sort of tool, but the longevity of this flake is really just in its flake form, in its tertiary flake form, just as a simple cutting tool. So there is a little bit of crosswalk and crosstalk between a primary, secondary, and tertiary. I personally find that a lot of my secondary flakes are the ideal ones that I like to use for projectile points and atlatl dart points. So as I'm going through my debutage pit, typically at the end of a kind of a knapping session, I look for some of those ideal flakes. This right here, again, tertiary flake, but it's got some thickness. Secondary flake, secondary flake. I just take a moment and just kind of look. Another secondary flake. That right there is definitely a secondary flake. I flip it over. There's not a lot of workable material in there. I save them all, but most of them are those secondary flakes. Little remnants of cortex on there. I can find some that are my tertiary flakes that have no cortex, but there's still some mass. Any one of these is suitable to turn into some form of a projectile point. I don't want to waste them. I want to keep them and turn them into something else. Now, why is it important to know what these flakes are between a primary, secondary, and tertiary? Because as a knapper, our material is precious. Especially if you're a new knapper or even an experienced knapper, you don't want to throw away those pieces of stone that you can turn into a simple projectile point. I'll see folks take an entire piece of Georgetown, a piece of Texas tab, or even a large piece of Keokuk. They'll thin it out, reduce it down, but they'll only produce a projectile point that big. That's a lot of stone wasted. But if you save those flakes, you understand the difference between a primary, secondary, and tertiary flakes, you can extend the usage of that stone and how those flakes can be used going forward. You don't want to toss those big, thick primary, more importantly, those secondary flakes out. Those are your projectile points. Save these large spalls for knives and spearheads and larger tools. By doing this, you will extend the life of your stone. I've got a lot of stone, knap every day, so I'm constantly going through stone, but I still take the time, go through all of my debutage, find those primary, more importantly, those secondary flakes, and even some of those tertiary flakes, save them and turn them into a variety of stone projectile points. Remember, make tools, not trophies. Appreciate you watching.